Hi guys, Erin Lohman Jack here. Super excited about talking tonight about TEDx. TEDx Seattle is closing applications in less than a week, actually, like in 6 days. So next Monday, the 30th, they will close their application. So if you have a dream of speaking on the TEDx stage, this is where you need to be tonight. So I came to you, no makeup, barely had my hair up. I literally was at my son's recital tonight and I was like, I need to put a video out. So I was like, let's just do it raw. Let's go behind the scenes. Let's talk everything TEDx. And so I'm coming to you raw. So what I wanted to say is, first off, I just realized you can share your screen in Facebook Live. Mind blown. Right before I came on, I saw a little button that says share your screen. I am all excited about playing with that. Not going to do it tonight because I tried to figure it out before I did this, but I'm going to definitely figure that out because that's a really great option. I always feel like I want to show what's going on, but I don't know how to do that unless I do it in Zoom. But then you don't have the live watches. So I definitely going to check that out. So you should check it out as well. So let's talk about why I know so much about TEDx. And can everybody hear me? I want to know, does everybody hear me? Because I have my little podcast mic. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, say yes, please. The reason I have become kind of the expert in TEDx is about 1.5 years ago now, I was hired by TEDx Bellevue College. Now, I was like you. I wanted to speak on the TEDx stage. Thanks, Kenny. I was so excited about being able to speak on the TEDx stage. And then what happened is I didn't know they had this application process already gone through. My good girlfriend, Mickey O'Brien, got chosen as one of the speakers. And she said, hey, do you have a speaking coach? And they said, no, we don't. And so I got to interview and I got hired by TEDx. Now, something for you to understand a little bit about TEDx is mostly it's all volunteers. So to get hired by TEDx it's a pretty big deal, by the way. But also, a lot of people just come into this as just wanting to give back. So this will kind of pre-frame what we're going to talk about with the screening committees and all of that. So after I was done from idea to ovation, I took 13 speakers all the way through the process to the stage, and then I helped them have a plan to now what? You do your TEDx and then what? So I've kind of done the whole range of that. However, I wasn't involved with TEDx Bellevue before they applied. So I wanted to know how I could figure that stuff out. I saw that TEDx Seattle was coming up probably 8 months after TEDx Bellevue College. So I reached out to them and said, hey, I'm excited. I want to know more. I'm the TEDx speaking coach for Bellevue. How can I support you? And so I had a conversation about the screening committee, about the writing committee, about the presentation committee. In TEDx Seattle, it's way bigger. So it's one of the largest in the United States. And so with it being larger, they have more of teams and committees. So what I first applied for was the writing piece. I didn't know. I just thought I was, talking to the speakers committee. And what I realized is, I don't really like to write other people's talks. I like to help them in the process of writing their talks and talking to them about how they can deeply connect. So I got asked to be on the screening committee for TEDx Seattle. Now that was pretty cool because I had never seen that side. So I jumped right in and there were 3 of us. There were 3 people on the screening committee and all the applications came to us. It was split up against the 3 of us. And we had to look through them all and decide if they were a 1 through 5. Okay. So between 1 through 5, 1 is we have to have this person on our stage. 2 is yes, this person needs to be our stage. 3 is I think they need a little bit of work. 4 and 5 are not really ready. Okay. So that gives you kind of an idea. Now, going back to it being volunteer. Volunteer really had a lot of people that were from all different walks of life. So on our screening committee, we had 2 other people besides me, who's an expert in speaking, but we had 2 people who are engineers. I think one was a mechanical engineer and a structural engineer, if I remember right. They were both engineers. So when you think about your application, you have to think about who's your audience. Who are you pitching this to? This isn't someone who most likely isn't a speaking coach, doesn't know how to help develop a speech, maybe doesn't know, how to engage an audience with a complex idea and break it down. So when you're sending in your applications, I want you to think, you don't know who the person is on the other end. However, you do know that they're from varieties of backgrounds. So you have to make sure you tailor it so that anyone would be intrigued by your idea. So this is always really interesting for people because they don't understand that. Then after 500 applications last year, in the last 24 hours, I think we got 200 or 150, if I'm right. It was chaos. So what I realized is going through all those applications is what works and what doesn't work, what stood out to me and what I wanted to throw to the wastebasket. So I wanted to come to you and tell you some of those things. So how many of you in here this year, or maybe even 2019, want to speak on the TEDx? If that's you, say that's me. In the comments, say that's me. So I want to see how many of you, this is like your dream. And thanks, Gina, for sharing. And if you know other people that would be interested in this, please share. I always forget that. I just jump right into value. And so if you know other people or you want to tag them in this, please do, because this is valuable stuff that not a lot of people are sharing. So when I was looking at this year's program for TEDx Seattle is coming up. I have all my papers because I'm doing my little workshop this week. So TEDx Seattle will be on the, let's see, that's the speaker's dinner. TEDx Seattle is November 17th. So think about that. Look how far in advance they're asking for applicants. And so on their page, you can find the sheet. If you go to TEDxSeattle.com, you see the website opened, the registration opens, recruitment for the first draft is due May 18th. But what's different this year for TEDx Seattle is they actually have you write out your speech. So it's interesting to me because last year it was just bullet points and things. So you have to actually have this prepared. So that's why I put a couple workshops together this week, and I'll be sending a live recording to the people who can't make it so that you can actually start working on this. All right. So you think about this. If you're looking at a TEDx, they're looking 6 to 9 months out for their speakers. So your first thing is to go on TED.com/TEDx events. And there's a huge map that pulls up and you can put in your state. Now, the reason you want to start local is because they have a priority over local. If you read what TEDx really is, it's the licensing of TED event that hosts local people with great ideas kind of thing, local community members. So don't go too far outside of your comfort zone. Try to find something close first within the combining states. So now if you're in Seattle, I consider Oregon, Washington, even British Columbia. Those would be a really good thing because it's not too far to travel, because you got to remember you have to do 3 or 4 rehearsals. And some of these people want to meet you in person. There's also, when the speakers are chosen, you're going to have an interview date in person. So you have to be able to make the interview date in person. So those are important things to know. And the cool thing is they have all your outlined for you on all your dates that you have to be committed to. And we'll go into that a little bit more. And then you want to look at what is their, like, when do they have these events? And this is where you want to create kind of a spreadsheet. If you want TEDx, you need to be constantly looking at TED.com and looking if new ones are popping up. Because sometimes you might go in there and this month look and there's nothing in Seattle for the rest of the year. And then you go back, a month later and there's a couple more. So you never know when they're going to be there, but you need to know where they are, when they, who has the license, right? So like UW, there's TEDx Women, there's TEDx Bellevue College. So there's a lot of different ones. So you want to really search that out, have a spreadsheet that lines that out. So don't even just look at the ones in the future, the ones for this year. Click on the button that says past, and also look, because then you're going to see that maybe TEDx Bellevue College hasn't announced a date yet. So you're going to know, oh, I need to keep looking for that. Or I should send them an email and ask them, when are they opening up their application process? So create kind of that spreadsheet for yourself. But let's just go over a couple things. I'm not going to give you everything, because some of you are actually coming to my workshop this week, which will be awesome because you actually get to work on it. You get personal feedback from me. And the theme for Seattle, so Seattle, Spokane, and Everett are open right now. Seattle will close, like I said, next week, but some of the other ones might be open a little bit longer. So it's a perfect time to start crafting this. So the TEDx theme is tall order. So they said perspectives to consider. Leaping over what happens when we shoot for a stretch goal and go beyond it and with surprising results. Falling short, what happens when we try to fulfill a tall order but fail. The journey, sometimes succeed or fail, we attempt big challenges and the lessons we learned. Suddenly in focus, what happens when a tall order doesn't appear as challenging and then it turns out to be challenging. Today, tomorrow, yesterday, what do you call a tall order in various times? So I want you to think about that tall order. What do you have in your, repertoire? What do you have? What kind of stories do you have? What kind of ideas do you have? A tall order. So I'm going to say it now. I haven't filled it out yet, but I am applying for TEDx Seattle. And this is my first time applying. I did apply for TEDx Spokane last week. So I'm going to try to take the same thing and reapply. But they have a lot more things to ask. So for me, a tall order is we have lost the communication of telling our stories. So for me, the tall order is we need to create Me Too movements around what we're experiencing. If I said I've experienced depression, if I said I've experienced miscarriage, if I've said I've experienced drug addiction, if I say I've experienced weight loss, weight gain, those things are what binds us as humans. Back in the past, we would see red berries and we say, oh, don't eat the red berries. Mary ate the red berries and died. So we would learn from each other's stories. And so what we do as a society now is we just see all the pretty things on Facebook or on social media, but we're really not sharing a lot of the stories. What are you really going through, right? And so that to me is where the influence is really shifted. And I know, and I'm taking a stand for this, that we all need to go back to being authentic and sharing what we're going through, because you never know who's listening on the other end, and you could change or save their life. So that's kind of my idea. So that's a tall order, right? To really change the way we're showing up in the world. So think about it. What do you know what do you have that's a tall order, right? And let me go into Spokane's theme is beyond ourselves. So that also fits with exactly what I just said, going beyond ourselves, right? Being outward focused, thinking about how we can help change the world by who we are and being outside of ourselves. So those are those two. Now, I haven't seen the theme for Everett yet, but I do know they're accepting applications. So some of the things they talk about is how to think about an idea. So how many of you on here would love, thanks Gina, how many would you love to kind of learn, like, what would an idea be? How do you come up with that? If you don't know what an idea really looks like on what they're looking for, put it in there. I want to know more. I need to know more. I have an idea we're sharing, and I don't know if it's viable, if that would work. Put something in the comments. Tell me what your idea is that you would want to share, because this will be really helpful. I might even be able to give some feedback, later on just sending messages. But some of the things I want you to think of, and you could go to my Facebook, or not my Facebook, you can go to my website, erinlomanjack.com, and on the first page, I have a free opt-in that says, is my idea we're sharing? So you can go in there, and I'll go through some of those questions on here, but there's a whole bunch of questions on there to kind of vet your idea, to kind of figure out how can you craft it in the voice that the audience would want to hear, right? So some of the things they say is, does your talk reframe an existing paradigm? Sometimes the world agrees to look at a situation or idea from a similar perspective. But what happens when we change that vantage point slightly? New insights and understandings might we glean from a shift in perspective. Challenging an existing paradigm. Does tradition or mindset cause us to accept, unexamine certain conditions and ideologies? What happens when we refute the status quo? What happens if an existing paradigm was simply removed? So those are some really good ideas, and offering a completely new paradigm, right? Will your talk reveal a never before seen concept, technology, or methodology? Is it truly a breakthrough? So last year, I saw things from harvesting solar power from the moon, to the Hyperloop with the Tesla thing with the train that goes so fast between Seattle and Portland, which I thought was so cool. I think they said it would only take like 25, 35 minutes. So that would really change up the way. And last year's thing was changing perspective, wasn't it? Or a new perspective? That's perception. Anyway, that so finding these cool ideas, and like some were about the tides, some were woo-woo. Some of them were more esoteric. So it was, fear, overcoming, holding two perceptions at the same time. That was one of my clients who took the stage. She talked about holding two conflicting opinions at the same time. So I want you to really think about what would your idea, how could you craft your idea to really change it up and change the world? Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to kind of go over some of the questions I ask. And these are when people come to me to help them write their speech. If it's the beginning stages of crafting it, they might have an idea and it kind of looks like data. And what I help do is go in there and really look at, is your idea something new? Is your idea something surprising? Does it challenge a known belief? Is it interesting in a broad perspective? Do you have factual evidence and proof? Does this idea inspire others? We all know we've sat and watched speakers talk about themselves and be so in themselves that it doesn't relate to us. And that's one of the great things I teach, is how to use the psychology of connection to connect on so many ways. So even if you screw up the words, you sound fabulous, you deeply connect with the audience, you're telling them stories that unlock their stories. All of those things are important. So does it really inspire them? And so the biggest thing is, I have seen Gina's here, I'll get back to you, is that you want to take your big idea and drop it down into like 1 to 2 sentences, all right? So coming up with a quick little easy thing. Let me see what they have here. On my one sheet, it says, becoming an influencer, use the psychology of connection to create a Me Too movement. So that might be mine. But let's look at some of these. Cell towers create imperfect and limited access to communication and the internet, leaving some areas of the world information impoverished. We've created a new technology that allows vast amounts of mobile data coverage over the entire planet. That was some inventor that spoke at TEDx Seattle. We fundamentally misunderstand compassion. What if instead of thinking of it as a trait like kindness, we reimagine it as a skill that we can learn and become more powerful? So these are some really great ideas, and that's listed in there when you look at their speaker milestones thing. But I want you to really think, how does this relate to the audience? So important. It's not about me. It's about how I can serve. So Gina says, what I talk about in my book chapter, doing things differently, deciding to take the stairs over jumping off the cliff. I love that. The lessons I learned after writing my book chapter recently. My story is vanilla, and the other lies will tell ourselves to stay small in my new emerging topic. I love that, Gina. You're so right. And I love that you tell people you don't have to jump off the cliff and be like, okay, I'm starting my own business, right? You can do this slowly and build it up and build up your muscles along the way, right? So your wings can hold you. So what I would say is find something that would be really catchy. So one of the things you want to think about with your title, and I don't think actually in the application they're asking for a title yet, which is kind of cool on that one. I might be in the Spokane one. Let me look at the Spokane one really quick because I have both the applications in front of me. But I always say is finding the, they say 1 sentence. This one says 2 to 3 sentences. So I don't think they're really coming up with the title. But the title is important because the title is what stands out when they put it on TED.com. So after you do your talk, they look at what kind of other ideas are in this area. So let's roll back for a minute. Before you submit, I want you to go look at TED.com and look and see if your idea is already out there. If it is, you might be rejected. So if it is, the perfect thing is you can acknowledge it and say that you have a different perspective, because that is powerful. They know that you've done your research, you've looked at it, okay? So when you think about your sentence, your title, I want you to come up with something, fabulous. So for you, I would say, Something like you want it to be catchy. Like the first thing I thought is, before you jump off, make sure you have a parachute, but can you walk up the stairs? Make sure, something about walking up the stairs before you even jump off the cliff, right? So think of something that really would stop people. So I just did this with my friend Calvin. I did his podcast this last week, and his topic was spend money to get out of debt. Or maybe it was vice versa. But we just shifted it up. Oh, I think he said, get out of debt by spending money. And I said, flip it, because it kind of disrupts the marketplace. Spend money to get out of debt. Now you'd all go, ooh, what is that? I want to watch that because I don't understand what he's trying to say. It's contradictory to what everything else in the world says, right? And then I have him look at challenging the way that the world works and the way that even our government spends money, right? And the budget. So I want you to think of something that would stop people and make them go, I want to know more about that. Okay. So really look at that. So I'm going to go through a couple of the questions, a couple of the things. But most importantly, one of the things I really want to hit on that people don't know, you have to follow instructions. Coming from the girl who doesn't follow instructions very often and blazes her own trail and makes her own rules. You've asked my 10-year-old. We make our own rules, Mom. Follow instructions. Because I'll tell you, one of the things that really sucked for me was looking at all those applications was when they asked for 2 to 3 sentences and I got 2 to 3 paragraphs. I'm looking at 200 applications. Do you think that's going to annoy me? And if you want to look at who would be coachable, you would probably want to look at who actually looked at the directions and followed them. It's important. It's an important key in all speaking. So pay attention to what they ask for and deliver it in the way they ask for it. So one of the things they ask is, okay, the 1 to 2 sentences. So here's something I want you to start thinking about. It says, why must our audience hear this idea and why now? So when I help people craft the talk, I say, talk about your idea, talk about why it's so important now, and then talk about why you, so that's where you go into storytelling, why you are so passionate about this topic, right? So the same thing goes with this, why now? And remember, your first audience is about 2,800 people in Seattle's McCall Hall. Why would they want to listen? What makes this relevant to them? I always look at it as, if I see a topic title and kind of maybe even they're like 1 to 2 sentences, hi CR, if I saw that, I would say, is this something I would attend all on its own? And so I want you to think about that when you're applying. Is this a topic that someone else would like look at and go, ooh, I want to go to that? So think about that. And then the most important thing, and I think sometimes the hardest thing for people is this. Why are you the most ideal person to give this talk? Because we all think it's our credentials, it's all this stuff, and it really truly is not. Because as humans, what's really important is, how do you know? So at the beginning of this video, I said, well, here's why I am the expert, for those who don't know. But it was really the story of how I went through all the applications and how I did all this work and all the things I learned through that. That was the thing that probably caught your eye or your ear way more than I was the, TEDx speaking coach and I was on the screening committee for TEDx Seattle, right? It's the story. So come up with why this is you, why it's your background or experience that connects you and gives you the insight. And why is this personal or passion for you? Like that's what connects us all, is the purpose and passion. So then they talk about, like I said earlier, about living in the local Pacific Northwest, right? They want to know if you live local or if you have the funds to be able to attend. Because you're going to have to be coming to some of these things. Like the first draft is due, let's see what it says. Rehearsal windows are between October 1st and November 9th. And then the technical rehearsal is on the 17th and the actual date is the 17th. So you would have to be here a couple times in the month of October and November and then be here for the live event. So they want to know that you can travel back and forth and do that. And a lot of beginning speakers or a lot of inventors, people like that, they don't have a lot of money to be able to do that. So they want you to know you don't get paid for it and they don't reimburse you for travel or any of that. And then they ask you, how would you like to be coached? So that's something to know before you start applying. Is how do you like to be coached? Because we all like it differently. And I've seen a lot of things happen. And what I also say is, if you're not getting the results you want from your coach, in any scenario. Fire them or have a conversation. I'm not feeling like I'm getting my needs met. Here's what I need. Either we need to renegotiate my deliverables or we need to end this contract. Same goes with TEDx. Because there are a lot of volunteers, you might not get someone that actually is your person, that actually understands you, that gets you, that can help you write it in your own words, that understands your concept and helps you develop that. And so I've had people who had speaking teams because they were speaking for other TEDx's contact me and hire me on the side because I was really able to help them get it across, then deliver it to the team, and then negotiate with them. Some of those people told them that was hired on, and some people did not tell them that was hired on. So some of it was kind of incognito behind the scenes. But knowing that some of these people, you know, they have a communications background, they might be a branding expert, but that's, you know, some of that's about storytelling, but that's not crafting a real talk. And if this is your TEDx, it's important. This could go viral. This could be your big break. This could be your Simon Sinek. The why, start with why, was filmed at TEDx Seattle. This could be your big time, so you want to make sure you have everything that you need and you're getting everything that you want and you're feeling supported, okay? So know that even if you get a team and you're not liking the team, go out and find someone else. And if you want, you can always contact me and I can refer people or I can help you. So that's the TEDx Seattle application. The only things that are really different in the TEDx Spokane, and the reason they're all different, and let me go back to that too. TED is the big organization, and they sell licenses to TEDx organizers. So like TEDx Bellevue College, TEDx Seattle, TEDx Everett, TEDx UW, and in each one of those, there's different parameters, and they have a different team. So they're given guidelines for the license, but it's not like you have to have these applications. You have to have it look like this. It's really open. And so people, each organizer can create their own application process. Some will have you submit a video first. Some will have you do that before you get to the interview stage. There's a lot of things. So in TEDx Seattle, you get the screening committee, then you get moved on. And then if you get moved on, then they might ask you to submit a video. And then they're going to ask you to come in and personally interview in person. And then they make their final decisions. Okay? So knowing that that's the steps for TEDx Seattle. Now, TEDx Spokane, they said, you know, submit a video. Now, you don't want this to be a long video. Last year, TEDx Seattle asked for a 2-minute video. It's as easy as this. Hi, Erin Lewin-Jack here, and I want to talk to you about how to create a Me Too movement. That's it. You know, like, it doesn't have to be long drawn out. They can already read your stuff. Maybe say something and show the compassion and the passion behind it that you have that's not being shown in your application. This is your time to shine, because if you just go, Bueller, Bueller, no one's going to want to bring you on their stage. And so this goes with all speaking. If you have video, you need to send video to anyone you're applying to speak for, because they want to know, just like you can feel me right now through this camera, you feel how I would show up on stage. So you would have already an opinion if I would fit in with your audience or not, if I'm the kind of person that would be perfect for you or not. So I want you to come with a video that shows passion about your idea, shows why you're so excited about it. Tell them more things that are not on your list. I don't want you to be reading my 1 to 2, 3 sentences about my idea is, they can already read that. They don't care. They can see that. Find something else that's different about it. Maybe that's when you say, you know, I scoured all of TED.com and I didn't find anyone else that has spoken about this, or it's a new perspective, or it's something this, or that kind of thing, right? So I want you to really think about how can you stand out in your video submission. If this is making sense, can everyone give me a high five, thumbs up, some loves, so I know you guys are all following along, because I'm not seeing anything in there. So I feel like I'm just talking to myself, and I was going to put something on my thing as well. But I want you to just, you know, think about how you can. What if instead of thinking of it as a trait? Now I'm listening to myself. That's awesome. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry for the echo if that was an echo, but I was going to put in here my page there. So Awesome. Thanks, Marty. So these things are important. How can my idea stand out? How can I be different than someone else? We're tired of the same old stuff. So wow them and show them how excited you are. You know, I'm just sitting here in front of my computer, but you can feel how passionate I'm about helping people get their message out to the world. It's important for me. So that's why I have so many people that have reached out to me in the last month asking me to review their applications, to review their stuff, to give them personal feedback. And I'm busy. I'm launching my Speakers Academy right now. I have a lot going on. I need to launch my podcast, you know, me and my podcast mic that I've had for a year and I haven't started my podcast. I have, this year I'm speaking in 4 countries. Like I'm traveling a lot. Like next month I'm out 2.5 weeks in LA. So at different times and flying home and flying out again. So I don't really have a lot of time. So I thought, okay, what if I just put together a 2-hour workshop where people can come, we can go through what the application process looks like. I can have you fill out the form right then and there, get some feedback, stand up, share your message, share it with other people, but get my personal feedback on your idea we're sharing and your application. This is going to set you ahead of anyone else that's applying because they don't know what the parameters are except for what the sheet says. So I put together 2 workshops. One is tomorrow night in Issaquah from 7 to 9. And if you look at the page I just put on the link that I just put there, it will show you both options. And then I have one during the daytime, Friday afternoon from 12 to 2 in Linwood at InSpark with Tracy Warren. And so you have an opportunity to attend either one. Now, for any of you that are not local, I still wanted to keep this open for you because I know how many of you meet me at conferences and you ask me how I can give you some feedback and how you can get some help and how you can know this stuff. We're going to go into a lot more stuff in those 2 hours and really dive in, but I'm going to record those and I'm going to put them on a course, like on a link. So you'll get a link, you'll sign up, you'll get the link. And then by Thursday or even Saturday, because Saturday I have both, but Thursday and Saturday, I'll put both of those videos up in that platform for you with all of these printouts that they got, all of the things, all the physical documents that I'm handing out to all of them, all of the tools. Okay, so you'll get all of it, even if you can't attend. Anybody that registers gets both live and the recording. So I know it's I'm supposed to be at Women in Tech Week. I was supposed to be there today and I didn't end up going, but I'm going tomorrow and I'm going, right even before my event, I'm going tomorrow, I'm going Thursday and Friday. So I get it. I totally get it, Gina. So just register and get the recording. And what I thought was for the people that are really serious, because that's like $97, but someone who really wants my opinion, and especially now that you have to write your talk, I'm offering something on the side. So you'd have to private message me, but it's $500 and I will review all of your stuff and I will help you craft your message before or even after your application, right? So even after you submit your application and you want to apply to other places, but it gives you a starting point, I'm going to open that up for people who want to do that on the side, and because that's some stuff I can do while I'm flying and all that. So I do have that. But I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to just show up in person and get personal feedback all at once so that I didn't have to like run around and give everybody their feedback, and I was running ragged. So I thought, okay, I'll just put together some workshops. So for those who said they wanted it, that agreed to it, that still haven't registered, I'm coming for you because you were the ones that made me do it. And I put my money where my mouth is, and I rented the space, and I got it all put together, and I spent time putting this stuff together. So I expect to see you guys there too. Does anyone have any questions? Because I'd love to be able to answer some questions for you right here and now. So I'll wait a second and give you guys TEDx talk. How long are they typically? So that depends, Gina. Each location, like each organizer, has a different parameter. So it's always has to be below 18 minutes. However, so TEDx Bellevue College, they had 13 speakers and then they had performers. So they had to figure in how many people could speak. And so breaking that up with the performers, with the transition times. So they had to cut it down to 10 minutes. Now, 2 people got 12 minutes because they had a video to watch, was a part of the talk. So I was able to help negotiate that time for some of those people. But it's anywhere between 10 to 18 minutes. But I don't really think I've found a lot of people that hit 18 minutes. And you got to be spot on because they have timed out everything. And you're going to be practicing this for so long that you will need to get it under that amount of time. So one of the things they expect you to do is have like at least 15, what was it? 15,000 words. Hold on. Let me find the number. 1,500 to 2,000 words kind of keeps you in that arena. So when you're writing out your talk, see how many words you have and keep it between that time frame or that number frame. Angela, how long after applications do they choose? So on here, it says they'll choose. Okay, so it says they recruit their first draft. Okay, so then it says, oh, all speakers are chosen June 1st. Okay, so here's what they do. They open up registration. They submit through them. This is how they're doing it this year, which is a little different than last year. And then what they do is they ask you to submit your first draft by May 18th. So that would be the time you'd want to work with me on your speech before you have to have that final draft in. And then on the 19th, you go in and you do a pitch day. So they're doing this totally different than they did last year. But they're going to have a pitch day where you come in and you do your talk, and then they pick from there. And so June 1st is when all speakers will be chosen. And not everyone gets a call. So you only get called if you get chosen, which I don't really like. But, so if you haven't heard by June 1st, that means you haven't been in. I think between April 30th and May 18th, they're going to have to contact you to ask for your first draft. If you probably are in that 1 to 2 range, maybe even the 3s if they like you. So after the screening committee, then it goes to the speaking committee that they help to write it. And then they get to sort through some more of those. Because think about it, if you have 500 and then you break them down, and then you have 120 or whatever, and you're only going to have 20 speakers, you really got to start narrowing it down. So it looks like June 1st is when they choose them, but you should know between April 30th and May 18th that they're going to ask for first drafts due. So if that answers you. Anyone else have any burning questions or desires? All right. Well, if you do, post below so I can work on answering them along the way in the next couple days. But like I said, get registered. I know, Angela, you're going to be there, which will be awesome. And Becca, I know you're going to be there. So some of these people will be there. You'll also get to meet other speakers, which is amazing and awesome. I always say that because when some of my biggest speaking gigs come from referrals from other speakers. And my little soul tribe, we just came up with an idea of the 5 of us referring, doing a speaking gig and saying, hey, if you're looking for other speakers, here's a list and here's like a menu. Here's 5 other speakers I stake my money on that if you wanted some referrals. It's the best way to do it. So you need to meet these people. That's why my speaker summit's so amazing. That's why, the things I bring together, it's not just about learning. It's about connecting with others. So this would be great because you get to come to these events, bring your idea we're sharing, get some feedback. Even if you're not clear, just come with some ideas. I'm going to give you forms to fill out, right? So you can actually start working through the process and get real feedback from me and from maybe the people in the room if we all agree to that. So that'll be something will happen in person. But even if you can't come, register. Get the $77 for the video feeds because I think you're really going to learn a lot. And when people are talking about their talk, it's going to help you, right? We always learn better by watching others go through it. So I'd love to have more of you in this. I have only a few more spots left. I'm kind of keeping it semi-small at these 2 locations, but because I want to be able to give everyone feedback, right? So if you haven't registered, get registered this week. If you know someone that this is their dream, tag them in this. I want them to come. Bring them with you. Put them in a carload. From here in Snoqualmie, we all get in a car and we drive downtown. So I want more of you in there if this is what you want to do. I want to help more people change the world, and I can't do that with my own voice. I need all of your voices to help me change the world. So come be a part of it. Come learn how to change the world and get your red dot moment on stage. I love it. Thanks, guys, for being here.